Hey guys, Mr. Boom87 back again with another video, and welcome back to the Clopdrawer podcast. I gotta say though, it's good to be back once again. I think by the time this video is uploaded, like there's gonna be another episode coming out. Hopefully, if all goes well. But I'm just sort of making this as a like pre-preparation plan in case like there's no Saturday video. So it's currently Friday. Just got back. I'm at home right now, so I figured I might as well just do a quick recording here and just I think I'd just like to talk about a certain game that came out recently. A really good game that came out recently. That being Hi-Fi Rush, a it's basically a game that like was shadow dropped out of nowhere. Like it straight up just came out of nowhere, and like it's it's a really interesting game if I'm being honest, and like I just really love the overall like art style of it, and like the characters are really good, like the story is pretty decent, and like overall I just really love this game for how good it looks and like how nice it looks to just like to not only just play but to also just like look at and just like enjoy, because it's so interesting. It has so much personality to it that like it's able to like outshine a lot of the AAA games that come out. And the fact that this game didn't get any like hype trailers and was just released and then like given a few trailers just to show off the game, like it's cool. Like it's cool, and it like you just really get to see everything about this. And I just think it's just such a charming game that like has a lot of like personality to it, and overall I just really enjoy the gameplay. I think I am going to get into spoilers about this game, by the way, because like honestly it there's a lot that it does. There's a lot of cool things that are done in this game. There's a lot of stuff that's I just really want to talk about because of just how it just interesting it is. Like I genuinely enjoy playing this game, and like I absolutely, because I've only managed to beat the main story, but I definitely want to 100% this game because I want to get out as much time as possible playing this game as I can. And I do hope that like we get a sequel to it, because the way this game is like structured, like the whole like rhythm based mechanics of like um doing like the way of doing damage by like getting the beat right and like sticking to the beats, like that's what really interests me. I think the only game that like I played that was like somewhat close to this was No Straight Roads. And No Straight Roads is like it's a good game. It definitely has the same like it definitely or at least it has like a similar charm that's like interesting, like similar to Hi-Fi Rush. But I think what makes them so different is that like No Straight Roads, it's very like it's very like combat heavy. It's not like mainly rhythm based. It's mainly just like you just have to be like good with parrying, and like you have to also just know how to do different combos, and it there's not really, it's pretty like simple, but it's still a very functional game. And I honestly think like the two of them can stand by each other side by side. Um, with Hi-Fi Rush, it's more rhythm-based combat. You have and I might be wrong on this, but it seems to be like similar to like the way some games like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry have like different combo attacks and like special moves that you can utilize. Like that's what it's basically like. I've never really played any of those games before. I definitely want to try one of them out sometime. But I overall just love the overall like style and feeling of the game itself. Like it definitely, I love the rhythm combat as well. Like it's so cool just getting the timing right and like being able to hit the right combos, getting the perfect timing. And even parrying in the game is pretty fun, which is something that's like become common in video games where you have a parry button. And honestly, I like the utilization of it. Like you get to really like take on a lot, and especially combined with like the different like character attacking moves, you can come up with some really cool like move sets and like overall like very versatile things, and like very versatile attacks that can like do a lot of damage. Um, I'd say story wise, it's a pretty okay enough story. It's basically just like a ragtag group, trying to take down an organization that wants to take over the world. It's not anything like new or anything like that, but it's I think what helps is just like the charm of it all, because like every character in the game, from the heroes to the villains, and even like the robot enemies, like they all have like distinct personalities to them that make them like interesting and just entertaining characters in general, because you just kind of relate. You can just look at certain characters and think to yourself, yeah, I really like these characters. I really like just the overall tone they have. I do like, I think like at the start of the game, with Chai's personality, like I didn't really like Chai that much, but I think by the end of the game he really started to just grow into his own form and like just get some development. And I think that's really cool. Like you get to see him over time like become a more reasonable character. Like he's still smug, but like he has an understanding that like yeah, sometimes you just gotta like be caring, and like you can be able to accomplish things like alongside a team, like that's something that's really cool. And you even get to see a lot of other characters grow, and just it's just an interesting time to me. Another character, Corsica, you gradually like through her chapter, you gradually see her like decline, and like you see like she tries to like question like what she's doing. It's mainly through her chapter though, and then like getting to the fight itself, like she does sort of continue questioning and wondering like why would these why would like Kale not tell her about the whole, like why she would be left out of the plans. But basically, the plan is that like Vandalay, the company that is there, like Vandalay wants to create like they have a project called Project Armstrong, which is meant to give people like robotic enhancements in order to like make them super soldiers, possibly, or mainly just to like improve people's lives and just help them. Um, but it's also the Project Armstrong also has like a thing called Spectra, which is basically like a mind control device that can end like whoever gets implanted with Project Armstrong parts is immediately like under Vandalay control, meaning that they can basically force people to buy whatever products they need to buy and just like have full ownership of the customers, which is absolutely terrible and is basically the robbery of free will. Um, but overall, Kale Vanderlei, who's essentially like the new boss, because apparently, the Roxanne Vanderlei, his mom, retired, and I'm doing retired in quotes because like we later find out that she didn't actually retire. She was captured by Kale and was essentially like just put under hypnosis. And it's on it like, and I think like just through the game itself, like I remember like first seeing Kale and Peppermint and thinking to myself like they're somehow related. For those who aren't aware, Peppermint is like essentially another character that's on the hero side. She's not. At first, I thought that like Kale was like Peppermint's father, but then it's like shown that it's actually Roxanne is the mom, Kale is Peppermint's brother. So that was something that kind of shocked me, but I wasn't too shocked. But it's definitely one of those things that kind of catches you off guard a bit. Also, I thought the game was gonna go in a dark direction and have it so that like Roxanne was killed by Kale, which admittedly would be quite a dark twist, but I'm pretty sure a lot of games have already done that sort of stuff before, so it's not really like it's anything new. You can do it in an interesting way, but I think it's good that they didn't do it for this game because Hi-Fi Rush doesn't take itself too seriously. Like it has serious moments, but it's not like entirely like it's still able to be like somewhat fun, somewhat charming, and like the jokes are interesting. I especially like Chai's puns sometimes. That's mainly because I like puns as a person instead of just like I just enjoy puns in general. So and like the dialogue is just entertaining between each of the characters and even the boss characters. Um, Aside from Kale, who I think is a pretty decent villain, he's not like impressive, but like he's a good enough villain that like I feel entertained just by um seeing him on screen and just like taking him on during the final segments of the game. But honestly, I just really enjoy the personalities. I was talking about Chai and how like he grows as a character. That's a good thing. I think also Peppermint, who is another character who just walks alongside you. She also grows a bit and like just becomes a somewhat like more interesting character. Like I think she becomes a lot more caring of Chai. Maybe it's due to like her like loneliness or something, or maybe it's because she sees Chai as like a brother who she wishes she had. But I still really enjoy the overall interaction. I also do like that they don't end up getting together because I think one of the things that kind of that's it doesn't necessarily bother me too much. I think it's just that like it can be done really badly is like having the whole like boy and girl friendship then turns into romance, which is something common in media that I don't really feel should be like put that much because it kind of ends up God, I am having trouble talking. It ruins a relationship that was already established well and like just makes it feel terrible. It doesn't really feel all that great and just like weakens a relationship that was like already good. I don't really feel like you should do something like that to just like you shouldn't just like force two characters to be together just because they are boy and girl. Like you can still have friendships, and I think that's something that I do enjoy. Admittedly, I did particularly ship them like at the beginning of the game, but I think I ended up just like dropping it because I felt like I feel like they would be more likely to be friends. Also, as we later learn on at the very end of the game, there's implied feelings that Peppermint actually likes Corsica a lot, which I think is very cool. And I hope by the second game, if there is a second game, they end up being like lesbian lovers or something. That'd be really cool. Also, if the developers end up like making a second game, do exactly the same thing. Like do the way you reveal the game, do that again. Shadow drop the sequel on us. Don't try to like say it's because I think with the way trailers are revealed, I think trailers sort of put a lot of expectations, and like when there's no news on the game after a long while, people start to question like what's going on, what's gonna happen. But with Hi-Fi Rush, since there was no like official news or anything about it beforehand, and the game was just essentially released, like it's clear that like you can seriously just make a game without having to like reveal anything about the project, and then eventually like reveal it to the public and be like, yeah, this is our newest game that we've been working on for a while. It's different from our other stuff, and yeah, it looks quite cool. And honestly, it is very cool. It's well polished. It looks really nice, and I generally just enjoy it, and I just really like it. Um, yeah. So if you're gonna make a sequel, guys, just shadow drop it so that way it's a lot easier for us to take, because I think that's a lot more fun, and I think that's something that like eases the development time, because like this game was developed very well, and I think if there were trailers revealed for it, like it might have ended up just like continuously like um I don't know, maybe not like achieving the quality standard and like being an incredibly good game. So it's good that they decided to just release the game just as a surprise during like an Xbox announcement. So yeah, good on you guys. What was it? It was the guys who made Evil Within. Good on you guys. So thank you for like making such a fantastic game overall and like releasing it in such a way. Um, but anyways, another thing I'd want to talk about, I guess I can just go through each of the characters overall. Another character was Macaron. I like Macaron. He's very he's pretty much like the big softy of the group. Like he's strong, but he's caring, and like he still will fight even like just for the sake of his friends, you know. And I just love him. He's a good guy. His robot assistant Cinnamon is also really cool. I just think the way he talks is funny. I just like his overall personality. The fact that the way he expresses his emotions is by drawing over his face with a marker is funny. That's funny stuff. And like it really helps a lot with comedy, cuz like during like Chai's knockout, like after he gets knocked out at Zanzo's like research department, and like is taken to security, which is Kosuka's department. Like he has a dream sequence where I think it's meant to be a Twin Peaks reference, but I don't know what I don't know what Twin Peaks is. Um, I'm sure it's like a good reference or something like that. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. So yeah, it's definitely an entertaining one, and Cinnamon is just drawn with like a sort of I don't know how to describe. It's like a retro look to his face, and it just brought a smile to my face. Cause this game is funny. This game has a lot of entertainment and humor in it that I just enjoy it all the way through. Like you just have to like laugh and just like enjoy the overall gameplay and just like laugh a little bit, cause it has so many funny moments in it that just really add a lot to it. And overall, I think it's just a fantastic game with a lot of heart. The boss characters are definitely another thing that interesting. I'll start off with Kosuka because she's technically a boss character. Kosuka, she is hot. Like she's stacked, and I absolutely love her overall like design. Like, I think she's really cool too. Like, I just love her personality, like the way she's sort of just a little bit awkward, but also like quite stern and serious. I also do like just how confident she can be sometimes. Like that's another thing I do enjoy, and I overall just love her. Like, also she's Scottish, which just adds more value to her because I just love the voice acting direction. If the voice actor is actually Scottish, that's awesome. Very cool representation. So yeah, I really like Corsica, and I hope we get to see more of her in the later games. If we get if we get a sequel, I want a sequel so bad, man. Like it, God. Another. let's move on to the other boss characters. First up, we have Rekka. Rekka, I think, is another character that people would probably really like. I mean, she's a muscular woman, so that already like gives me like a neuron activation. Cause when you really look at Rekka, like she looks stacked as well, but like she's muscular stacked, and I absolutely just love her whole like personality and like her speech about like marketing and all that, like how she wants to be a bit like how she is as a business person, like it's aggressive, and it's just like her motive is basically just aggression is the key to like selling products, which is fantastic and just hilarious in general. I absolutely love her. Another one, we have Zanzo. Zanzo, I thought was pretty cool. I didn't. I think he's my. I don't think I liked him that much, but like, I still liked him nonetheless. I still think he's really fun. I like his JoJo references. That's really cool. Like just the way he poses, and like has all these different like posings that the different poses that reference like different parts of the anime. Like that's cool. So it's overall just a really cool thing that I enjoy about him. We also then I already talked about Corsica. We have Mimosa. Mimosa is a baddie. Like she is a baddie as well. I'm sure like she's probably heard that comment before and is just like, ha, of course I am. Like, yeah, of course, like, cause she does look good. Like she does look good in some way, and even like when she's like knocked down and like she's looking tired, like she still looks really good. Um, so I just think she's a cool character. One of the there's like one attack during her boss fight that's like if you don't avoid it, like she straight up just smacks you across the place, and it's still funny every single time I look at it. It doesn't make me gut bust, but it's just like funny to look at, and I just enjoy seeing that each time. It's so funny. Um, Also, her fight is pretty good. I think if I were to measure up all of the fights in the game, I'd say hers is the most solid out of all of them. Like she's tough. She definitely has like a lot of attacks on her belt. Like you gotta be really good at parrying attacks. You gotta be quick on your toes. You gotta make sure that you're dodging and like you can't like mess up too many times. You just have to keep the beat going. Like that's a like she really keeps you on your toes, and I think she's probably my favorite boss fight in this game overall. Um, like it's just a cool boss fight. Next we have Roguefort. Roguefort was pretty good. I think his fight is also really cool. Um, I don't know. I felt like his fight felt a bit easy in some cases, but I think if I said that like with a straight face, I'd probably be lying through my teeth because like I think a few times I did go down, but overall his fight is pretty decent. I'd say like he has a good boss fight and like a good one like just before the final boss. There's also the giant robot that you face as the first boss in the game. It's an okay boss. It's not really something to write home about, so it's pretty okay. Another boss fight. Then we have the final boss fight of the game. Kale Vanderlei himself. I think his boss fight is tough and also painful. I failed so many times on that fight, trying to just like get as much damage in as possible, as well as also dodge his attacks and just bob and weave as much as I can while making sure I like try to stay as like I try to keep my health bar as balanced as I can because his fight is tough. He pulls out the stops and like you gotta be really careful about his attacks and just like be good on your toes. Um, but yeah, his boss fight's also really good. I think it's satisfying at the most. Like it's definitely a satisfying fight to take on, and I really do like it. I think if I were to rank the boss fights in this game, I'd say my favorite boss fight would be Mimosa. My second favorite would be Koska's boss fight, since it's more of a rhythm based type boss fight. I think she's very cool. I think like the whole rhythm based thing is really nice. It's definitely it sounds like it might be easy, but it can also be hard on you. But I do really like it nonetheless. There's also Kale's boss fight. Actually, no. I'd put it as Mimosa first, Kale second, uh, Korsica third, Roguefort probably fourth, Zanzo fifth, and like Rekka as at sixth. Because I do think Rekka has like a good boss fight. It's just that it's not. I don't think it's cracked. Actually, no. Rekka's is fine. I think it's Zanzo's that the one that's probably the weakest. I think it just boils down to you going through different like enemy stages and defeating them. Like you don't necessarily like fight him, so it's better off to just like I think it would be best to just like have it as what is it? Like I think it's Rekka would replace Zonzo. Zonzo is probably the weakest one, I imagine. Because it's just like you're going through segments, you're going through the levels and such, like it doesn't really feel all that like befitting. Like I'd say the bosses are, I think overall, if I wanted to rank the boss fights in this game, I'd say they are pretty solid, and like overall, I think like the progression of them is what really helps me enjoy all of them. I do wish some characters stuck around more than like just a few times, because I wouldn't mind having like Rekka be around for a little bit longer, because she's the first one to go, and like after that, it's you're just stuck with the five of the bosses, and like you gotta like continue moving forward, and like you take down each boss fight. I think progressively. I think the only one I think I like Mimosa a lot is because we already get an introduction to her. We get to see like what her personality is like, and like even going through the levels themselves, like going through her stage, like you just sort of you interact with her multiple times, and you just get an understanding. Like, I think that's why I like her, because she's the most like you get the most amount of time with her, and I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I think that's all I have to really say about Hi-Fi Rush. Hi-Fi Rush is a solid enough game that I think it would definitely, if okay, I really hope that this game gets game of the year, because it's a good game. It's a good game, and I think it has a lot of heart put into it. I think the rhythm based like combat mechanics are really fun. I think there could be so much more done, that like there's so much more stuff they could add to the game that could really improve it and like make it even more solid. And I think there's so much that they could really just put into it that I would absolutely want more in a sequel. Like Hi-Fi Rush 2 needs to happen. Oh, and we should get more playable characters, because I think that would be fun as well. Like just being able to have more characters to be able to play around with and just like mess around with. That would be pretty nice. Um, but yeah, I think overall I really like the characters. I guess the one character that I didn't talk about was like Roxanne Vanderlei a bit. Um, I think Roxanne doesn't get that much, so there's not really much you can really say on her. The robots themselves, like every robot in the game, is top 10. Actually, no, it's top tier, is what I meant. Because every robot has some kind of personality that just makes them interesting. Like, they all have, like, human emotions, and, like, it's just entertaining to see, and just interacting with each of them in the level is so fun to me. Like that's just what's so entertaining. And the fourth wall breaking in this game is amazing as well, because there's so much dialogue that happens, and like depending on the save states that you have, like you can listen to some really fun dialogue from the characters, and it's like just it's just an entertaining time overall. and I really just enjoy the overall interaction. Like, this game has personality, this game has love put into it. It's a 10 out of 10 in my book, and I honestly cannot wait to see what happens. If there's DLC, I'm buying it. Like, if it's like 6 hours content of DLC, I'm buying it. Like, that's awesome, and I would absolutely love to play more of this game. Oh man. Oh man, this was good. This was very good. Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's all I have to say now. I think now I've like covered every bit of Hi-Fi Rush. The bonus content looks really good. I want to see what lies in store with like the overall like story, like what the bonus like the after after story like post game stuff. I want to see what the post game offers, like what that is. I cannot wait to play it and see what happens. And I'm just gonna enjoy playing it and just hope that there continues to be more games, because this game is creative, and I think that there should be more games like it that like have such an art style that's like just cartoony and fun. Like, it feels like like a lot of people say it's like a Cartoon Network show, and it's like, yeah, this is like one of those early like Cartoon Network type shows, and it feels more like a GameCube game in my opinion because of the art style itself. Like, I think the only thing that separates it from it being a GameCube game is the fact that like there's a lot of modern features on the game that like you wouldn't really expect on GameCube. But other than that, it's basically a GameCube game, and I absolutely love that. So yeah, I recommend this game. Go play it. It's like 29.99 on Steam. It's actually less on Epic Games, but I'm not sure about like the quality of each. I don't know if there's like quality differences between like Epic Games and Steam. Like, I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, go check it out. Go try it out. Enjoy yourself, and honestly, I just hope that there'll be more in the future. Anyways, I'm Mr. Boom87, and this has been an episode of the Clopdrawer podcast.